I assumed more or less that I'm not a special person, and that if I just followed the guidelines that were out there, it'd probably do the same thing to me that it does to everybody else. Now, keto, so that was time restriction. Keto is basically restricting carbs and making up for them in fats.
Hmm.
So like it's a super low carb diet, like less than a lot of the recommendations are like less than 50 grams of carbs a day, which is really low.
Yeah.
Uh, Me personally, I go up to 100. I give myself that freedom to live on the edge and go up to 100
Whoa.
because of being so active, it's not as big of a deal if you have a little bit more carbs in your system. And because I'm also doing fasting, so that kind of compounds the ketosis effect naturally. So if I have a few extra carbs, it's not the end of the world. So I give myself up to 100 on that. And the rest of it comes from proteins and fats. And a lot of those fats are from sources like you mentioned, like dairy, cheese. I get some from cheese, not a ton. I'm trying to actually think. So from dairy, I mean, I eat those cheese sticks. I'll have two of those a day.
Hmm. And
And
those
then,
are like protein and fat bombs, basically.
yeah, it's like 7 grams of each in
Hmm.
one.
Which is a great ratio for a keto diet.
Yeah. And then sometimes I'll also have some cottage cheese throughout the day.
I love cottage cheese. I wish my stomach could handle it better, but it's so versatile.
It's really good. Um, so I think I'll have like a half a cup to a cup of cottage cheese in a day. And so I think that's about it from dairy. But then I get it from peanut butter and almonds.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I'm eating ground beef, which I'm not anymore, but ground beef has a lot of fat in it. Um, Avocados, I throw sometimes, occasionally have those in there.
That's like almost a vegetable. You got to be careful.
I know. Hey, I'm trying to figure out how I can get off of these animal products. I really am. I think it'll go. So I think the one thing, this is side topic here, but the one thing that I want to cut out of my diet right now are pork rinds. But I love them because they're such a good keto food because
Yep.
there's no carbs and it's like 7 grams or 9 grams of fat to 6 or 7 grams of protein
Yep.
serving. It's like, again, it's a great keto food. I got into them because of keto,
Yep. Me too.
but I would love to find something else because I feel so bad about all those little pigs.
Well, in defense of you, they're already dead.
Yeah, yeah, they are already dead. But
It's like using the whole animal kind of thing.
that's right. That's right. It's respectful. Got to use
Yeah.
the whole animal.
And then you take their bones and you make a bone broth, which, by the way, is disgusting.
Oh,
Bone
really?
broth is gross.
Perfect.
I wish it wasn't, but it is.
And let me think, what else do I have? I have whey protein, I have chicken.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are basically all the main foods.
Yeah. So ketosis is based on a millimole per liter ratio, right?
I think so. Sounds
I'm pretty sure it's millimoles per liter. So the what I pulled up is that 1.5 to 3 is like a standard you're in ketosis flag. Where
okay.
do you sit? Do you pee test? Do you prick? Do you do any of those things?
I do not. I've not done any of those things.
You've
Um,
never done them.
nope.
Oh, that
Haven't.
surprises me.
Yeah, I just never got around to it. I
I mean,
suppose
getting
I
peeing
suppose
on
I
your
could do a pee
fingers
test
is.
or something, but I just haven't. I just kind of I assumed more or less that I'm not a special person, and that if I just followed the guidelines that were out there, it'd probably do the same thing to me that it does to everybody else.
Can we just pause there for a second? Because I love that. I just assumed I'm not a special person.
Yeah, I just figured it's most likely that it would do the same thing to me that it does to everybody else.
Yeah,
So
we're all just regular people.
yeah, Now, sure, though, if you did, if for you were doing it for any sort of health reason or like a super strict performance related reason or anything like that, that's a good point. You would want to go ahead and test yourself to make sure you're in it because everybody is different and
Yeah.
maybe you're not in it. Maybe I'm thinking that 80 grams of carb is okay and maybe it's not. Maybe it's keeping me out of it. But based on all the research I did when I was setting up my diet, it
Hmm.
didn't seem like it would be a big deal. So yeah,
Yeah, I think it's important to know, and we talked about tracking, right? You don't have to test your P every single day if you're doing keto, but I think it's a smart idea to set your macros, find out where you fall, and check if you're in, and then you do that for 2 weeks, and then you're good.
and then you know from there.
Yeah, because I would guarantee that there are people out there that if they ate 100 carbs, they would 100 grams of carbs, they are not in ketosis.
Yeah,
Smaller person, less active. There's a lot of factors genetically that can just like predispose you to this kind of thing if
yeah,
you do a lot of aerobic exercise. Um, and with keto, the hardest part is getting more unsaturated fats and less saturated fats.
getting more unsaturated. You said.
Yeah. Yeah. So your pork rinds, those are saturated.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Your avocado, right? That's we're looking for unsaturated. The less animal products, the better the quality of fat usually.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, depends on what it is, though. I guess, but I think it's funny because I think there's such like a weird. The research is like so confusing on animal fats and
Mhm.
vegetable fats, especially from like vegetable oils and stuff like that,
Yep.
not seeming to be super healthy. But the animal fats thing is such an interesting thing to me. I don't know a ton about it, but it just doesn't seem. I'm not likely to. For me, I need to be shown hard evidence,
Yeah.
convincing, compelling evidence that they're not safe for you.
Hmm. And I wouldn't even say that it's not safe because people have been eating animals like forever.
That's why I don't think it's such a big deal.
Right. But you could do better if you're trying to be serious. So things like getting a blood, like a CBC, where they look at your HDLs and your those numbers. Like
Yep.
if you're at risk of high cholesterol, you should pay really close attention to how much fat and cholesterol and things like that that you're consuming. Anyway, you should pay attention to what you're consuming, period, if you're at a high risk for a certain category.
Yeah.
So, what is your longest fasting period?
Well, I guess we just talk. Okay, this is actually, we didn't talk about this. I was going to say